Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. My name is Muhammad Syarif Ismail, and today I will presentation about mind mapping. Mind mapping about novel. The title is Street Cat Named Bound, and this novel, the cat, the Street Cat Named Bound is novel that is based on the true story about James Bond as main character and his cat who has changed his life for to be better. And this novel was published for the first time in 2012 in Great Britain, UK, and has been written by himself, that is James Bond. Let's start it. So we go to first. This is that is main character. There are two main character in this novel. The first is James Bond. James Bond is a homeless man and a former ex-heroin addict living on the street of London and down to his last bits of chance. After a life-threatening drug-related incident, his support worker sees Paul and he attempt to get him off the street and get him into a council flat and saber him on methadone. The second is there is Bob. Bob is a street cat that James Bond found well in his flat, small apartment, and was eating his food. And Bob also often accompanied James Bond basking in the city center and became the center of attention for many people. And it was Bob who changed James Bond's life for the better. So next is the second character. There is Val. Val is rehabilitation doctor that help a lot of things to James Bond, like provide temporary shelter, help when he get accident with police, and help recovery him to be better, and also place for James Bond to report his condition twice a week before he undergoing to the final therapy of methadone. And next is Buzz. Buzz he is also homeless and heroin addict until he died and found by James Bond near from his flat small apartment. The third is Betty. She is neighbor of James Bond at his flat, and also Betty is a veterinarian and help James Bond a lot of things about Bob, and she is who give name to Bob. Next is plot point number one. One man and his cat. Was the beginning of their meeting. James and Bob, where James found Bob at his flat, small apartment. At that time, James was told there was a thief in his flat, and it turned out to be cat who was eating, and so James let him eat. And the next day, when James wanna basking at the city, Bob follow him, and James tell to Bob, "Stay away, Bob. I wanna basking for living in a very soft tone." And Bob continues to follow him, start from get on the bus until in their center of city. So when James basking, Bob standing near with him, and they make quite all of money for the day. Next to plot point number two, center of attention. Day after day, when basking, James always accompanied by Bob, starting from leaving his flat to the middle of the city. There are always watching them. There are always people watching them, and there are also those who shake hands, ask for photos, even give Bob a little snack. There was a time when Bob climbed James' bike. At the time, also added a lot of people who saw them, and when basking was also make people were stunned, focused, listening to James performing, playing the guitar and sing, accompanied by Bob, who was standing on his guitar. So there are the become center of attention for weeks, and they are famous on the news media and YouTube page in YouTube with more than 1 million people watch them and like them. Next is scene number one. The scene is the day best that one night while returning home, James finds his old friend Buzz unconscious on his flat estate, like small apartment, overdose on heroin. Buzz later dies in hospital, and James finds out that Betty cannot be around drugs addict. Betty is a friend, a neighbor of Buzz. Betty can find out. Betty don't like people in heroin addict, and uh, and James Bond hiding about him is heroin addict. And then after they said the Kira's brother had been one. On New Year's Eve, James make an effort to visit to his biological father, Jack, his stepmother, Hillary, and his lost sister, Chris, and fight. After Bob destroying their living room, Hillary sends James and Bob out, and James and Bob cannot join in the New Year's party in his biological father. Okay, next to the scene number two, a little bit problems before James Bond's success. One day while basking, James gets into an argument with a Yop-like stranger, causing the crowd to get into brawl with the man and James getting arrested for it. After being around for intention, he is prohibited from basking for 6 months. While in the James receiving his methadone, Betty notices him. Betty and James argue and go their separate ways. Later on, James visit of the office of the big issue to make some more money for him and Bob. He regains his popularity with tourists by selling the big issue after being accused of allegedly selling magazine on another vendor's page. James and Bob are banned for a whole month. After going back in business, James gets into an argument with a woman trying to buy Bob off him. Losing Bob in the scuffle, Bob does not return for a few days, and leaving James devastated after Bob returns. James feels he is ready to come off the methadone. After weeks of withdrawal symptoms, James awoken clean and healthy. A journalist Mary requests to write a book about James and Bob after his internet and media popularity. And James agrees. James then picks up with his relationships with his father Jack, and his life turns around for the be better. Okay, happy ending, and James become rich man and Bob become more popular with in internet media with in YouTube too. And thank you for your attention. See you next time.